Hello, off-road Hummer, H3 Hummer enthusiasts and H3T. Get to that later about the H3T. I'm Eric Schwarttzy. Today's October 9th, Wednesday, 2024. I'm updating you about the second gen rock sliders. They're also called rocker panel protection. Basically, they're armor that goes underneath your door, so when your tires come off a rock and there's a rock underneath it, it doesn't crush your doors or your rocker panels, this area right here. So this stuff and your doors. And basically this armor is all made of aluminum, and the reason we're doing aluminum is to defeat shipping. So the amount of money you guys would have to spend for the Gen 1s is just astronomical, and we could have greater benefits, lighter weight. So the cool part is the driver's side and passenger side of a Gen 2 my rock sliders weigh just the same as one driver side Gen 1 rock sliders. Shaving weight is awesome. Basically, we just lost, from my best estimate, 1.5% of the weight of the vehicle. Every little bit counts and adds up. We want to be as light as possible with the biggest tires. And yeah, so I'm pretty proud of these things. The skid plates, so skid plates right here, those are 3/8 inch thick aluminum 5052 bent up. The step plate right here, that's 1/8 inch 5052 aluminum bent up and welded at each end cap, so front and back. It's a mirror image front to back, although the bolt holes are slightly different from passenger to driver side. They're just a mirror image of each other. A lot of the work was dealt with, a lot of the difficulty was dealing with emergency brake cable that's ran on the outside of the frame rail on the driver's side. These aren't something you're going to assemble in like an hour. Definitely plan on wrenching. In fact, there's going to be some tools included. One of the things I want to do for you, I have included a tap for the frame rails, so you can tap that out and make those bolts spin in nice and smooth. Also, don't forget to use some anti-seize when you finish tightening it up, well, before you run those bolts that mount to the frame rail. Oh gosh, I forgot. Let me back up again. So you got the 3/8 inch skid plate, you got the 1/8 inch step plate, skid plate 3/8, and then you got two sandwiched together 1/4 inch 5052 aluminum ribs bent twice to support the step plate and the skid plate. The reason why we're doing two of them, because you can't do 3/8 inch bent in that tight of tolerances. The dies necessary to bend that kind of aluminum just can't be. The dies aren't that small. It just doesn't work like that. And then you'd also risk cracking the aluminum. There's like a certain radius and everything you need to have. So I opted to do two of them sandwiched together, giving you in spots almost an inch thick of aluminum. And why aluminum? Again, basically we don't want to have to deal with rust. We don't have to take these rock sliders off every 3 to 5 years. And on top of that, everything's modular because it's a bunch of carriage bolts put together. In fact, everything can be wrenched together with a 9/16 ratchet, which is also why you guys are going to get one of these. I'm going to include this in, not this model. I'm going to include the one from Tekken that I like. It's like 16 bucks on Amazon. Nothing special, but it's really nice, and all my sockets, wrenches, and whatnot are Tekken. I've been really enjoying them. They work really well, high quality for the price, I think. So going over this thing, everything worked out except for one bracket. I've already ordered 14 new of them, so 2 for each set. There's 7 sets. 3 of the sets are sold, so I have 4 sets left at this moment. Obviously these are going to get powder coated black, just the step plate. I would powder coat these black, but the reality is, unless you're like 3 foot tall, you got to stand back at least 30, 40, 50 feet to be able to even see these rock sliders if you're 6 foot tall. I can't see them unless I'm step back much further. So let's do some video of these things so you can see the end caps all welded up, nice tight seams, almost impossible to find the carriage bolts underneath inside here, and the only way you can see carriage bolts is underneath here. Coming along, got everything. Tolerances are nice and neat. These 6 holes right here are for a high lift. The high lift jack keys right in there. What's really cool is when you put the high lift, it can't slide back or can't slide rearward or forward, and it can't shift in passenger side, driver side. It's kind of locked in with that hook when it goes in there. The outside rivets or carriage bolts right here, these guys just pinch down this 1/8 inch plate all the way along it. Okay, nice, beautiful. This is the bracket that is screwed up. I've already redesigned it. Like I said, 14 more of those are already in production, ready to go, and I'll be shipping those ones out. I had to chop it down because I forgot. If you see where my finger is pointing, there's a body mount right there. I forgot to accurately calculate that guy in. I also lowered it down a little bit right here so that this won't rub as much on it. It should fit perfectly inside it. You can see all the bolts right here. Just bring it down, showing you all this. Nice and neat. All professionally mixed. Oh yeah, and I'm missing this one. I have 42 of these. I actually ordered too many of them. I just forgot to put it in my forgot to bring it along when I started doing all this wrenching. So the driver's side's actually kind of tricky. You're gonna have to put this one up first. Probably have to put this one up, but this one and this one you should be able to finagle in with a buddy. This is definitely going to be something you might consider having your best friend come over, have a 6-pack of beer ready, because it's going to take some wrenching. The reason we got to do this wrenching so much is because I wanted this profile to be so narrow and so small and really nice, which means we can't get like a traditional wrench in there again, which is why I'm including a ratcheting wrench. You can't just do a regular ratchet. But the design is just absolutely amazing. Let me do some back and forth from you from a distance so you can see here. Like I said, like I have to get down low before you can see the whole thing. Coming along. Open up the door, I'll show you. I wear size 12 shoes. They're as small as I can get them, where I still step on it. Start shaking the Hummer for you. The whole thing's shaking. I've already lifted it up with the high lift. I don't want to do that on camera just because, yeah, time constraints. But as you can see, I'm going to swing over to the driver's side for you now. Or passenger side, blah. So just got the passenger side bolted up. See that? Nice and neat. Come underneath for you. Same thing, just a mirror image. And this gives you a much better view of what we got going on down here. Again, I'm missing the one bracket that goes right here. I just forgot to put that in there. And again, this guy had to be cut because I forgot about that bracket. It was just about a ½ inch too big. And then you can see him over here. This guy, the passenger side, you can assemble all of it on the ground. You're gonna wanna leave the bolts right here. These guys on the inside, leave these ones loose. And then you should be able to slide it right up and then key in one of these bolts right here, and then everything will go nice and smooth. So let's just review some things. They're in shop. All the parts are here except for those brackets that I messed up on. 14 of them already ordered, being shipped out. Should be here within less than 2 weeks is what I told them. Yeah, so just to reiterate some things, the reason why I did all this, again, aluminum, saving weight, it's lightweight. If you come over underneath here, you can see these skid plates. These guys, this is the whole reason why we're switching to aluminum. These 3/8 inch skid plates, and then the really good prices on aluminum I've been getting. This one, I was turtled entirely on this, and you can see the gap. That huge gap right there. That held the entire weight of the vehicle. I was balanced on that far corner, right where my finger is. I was balancing the entire weight of the vehicle on that when I was off-roading the other time. You can see some scratches, whole weight of the vehicle digging in, and that's it. Okay, you got to think about it as like, it's not, off-roading's interesting. We're not driving around in Corvettes. We don't have Miatas or the newest Mustang or whatever. It's off-roading. One of my sayings I love to say, it's not off-roading until someone breaks. Otherwise, it's just an unimproved road. And it kind of goes the same thing. You got to have that kind of mentality. I mean, if these were made out of steel, the second you punch through the powder coating, so the second you drop down on a rock, it's rusting in that spot. There's nothing you're going to be able to do about that. Sure, steel is stronger. It's going to survive, not dent as much, but the reality is, once you have these scratches and scar wounds on the metal, which the metal's plenty thick, I cannot express to you like how thick 3/8 inch aluminum is. Like, here's the width of my finger. You see that? It's quite dramatic holding it in hand, and yeah. it works out really, really well. We're shaving weight. It's aerodynamic. The thing's, I like to keep saying it's a snowboard for the Hummer now. In the same situation, now it's nice and smooth. You can slide all the way over a rock. There's no hang-up points. That means we don't have to be lifted to the sky. I mean, as much as I want to have a Bronco Raptor and build parts for that, I still would rather have my 5.3 V8. And you know, we can make intelligently designed parts that allows us to just slide over the top of a rock and not have to deal with, well, and then deal with not being able to put 37-inch tires on there. But the reality is, I mean, look at the suspension and everything. That thing is like a mirror image of what this is, just modernized with a little bit better components. And the travel is not far off. The reason why the front doesn't travel as much is because the sway bar up front is too much. And there's a company called like AXY something or another, I don't know, Links or something. They got this air one that you can charge up to like 300 psi or 0 psi, which means the sway bar is completely free or completely locked up, and that's where you get the rest of your flex to keep up with those Bronco Raptors. Yeah, so they're ready to go. They're for sale. I'm still figuring out pricing and everything, so I can't guarantee that I'll ship it. If I have to, I'll cancel your order and give your money back. But I'm pretty much on the money. Last I checked, running all the numbers and everything. Yeah, I'm just waiting for 4 sets of these to come back from the powder coating, so I'll have an extra one ready to ship, and then the second I run out of that 4th one, I'll have my buddy weld up the rest of the sets and go from there. So they're for sale on my website, schwarttzy.com, schwarttzy.com. Ready to go. I'll be shipping by the end of October, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. These things are really cool. Hopefully the camera's doing its justice. It really doesn't. I think you need depth of view to understand, because the angles are confusing. Every time I take a photo of it, it's just not quite right how you see it in reality. It is very thin. Like, I can barely get my fingers in there. If you have a girlfriend with small hands, it'll certainly help with putting the bolts in. Yeah, the cool part is one box that's expensive to ship, and then I'm looking at 1 or 2 flat rate large priority boxes with all the other brackets. It's pretty neat. I'm excited to be here, and I don't know, what else can I say besides I can't wait to beat on these things. And again, guys, if you have any worries, I have no issues replacing parts and redesigning it. If the aluminum proves not to be enough, you know, we can just swap it out to be like an 1/8 inch of steel and a 1/4 inch of aluminum behind the steel, and now we got the lightweight and strength, which is something I might consider in the next year. I'll consider it. Not something to pull the trigger on quite yet. This was a significant investment of my money. Guys, remember, I'm doing this just for fun. I'm not here for massive profits. I'm just hoping you guys can help me offset the price of mine, and then yeah, help you guys out getting a few sets of these. If you have any questions, go to my website, use the contact me. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, you can use my Instagram or Facebook, but I don't always check those that very well because it's like locked down for safety. I get confused because I just don't want to spend the time. Just please use the contact me on my website. Get an email out. I'll probably shoot an email back, and then if you have any issues with design or something, basically I'll ask for a photo right away. Some tools just to remember. You're going to want a dead blow hammer, so the rubberized mallet, just to make sure you can sink everything down. These guys at the bending shop, they're not absolutely 100% perfect, so banging on it is good. You're gonna need a nice pin like this just to stick it in, line the holes up, shift it left or right. Again, got a nice tap here. Tap out the holes on the frame rail. Take your time, go slow. Use WD-40 or something even better, bare minimum. Just go slow. Go in a little bit until it gets tight. Back it out all the way. Put some more WD-40 on it. Keep going back and forth, back and forth. It's going to take a while, but you're going to love it once you do that. Make it nice and clean, and then don't forget to use some anti-seize on those bolts that go into it. Like I said, it's going to take forever to do it. Do this. There's just short of 100 nuts, and there's about 100 bolts or carriage bolts to assemble this. And again, I'll be including a 9/16 wrench to make this nice and easy for you guys. Tekken from Amazon's the one I want to go with so far. Yeah. Pray for those guys in Florida. Quite the hurricane. I'm kind of partially a part of that. My parents have a house down there, and yeah. Good luck. Go off-road. Chrome don't get you home, and remember, it's not off-roading until someone breaks. Thanks for watching.